Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep used to come so easily? Maybe you fall asleep fine but wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, wide-eyed and restless, watching the clock tick by. Or maybe you doze off during the day, only to toss and turn all night. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Sleep changes as we get older, and not always in the way we'd like. But here's the good news: just because you're over 60 doesn't mean you're doomed to a lifetime of poor sleep. Getting a good night's rest is still very much within your reach. It might take a little adjusting, maybe a few new habits, but the results can be life-changing. Better mood, sharper memory, more energy, and even a stronger immune system, all of that starts with a good night's sleep. So, in this video, we're going to talk about some simple, down-to-earth strategies you can use to sleep better after 60. You won't need fancy gadgets, expensive supplements, or a prescription pad, just a little know-how and a willingness to try a few small changes. Think of this as a gentle nudge in the right direction, not a complete overhaul of your life. Let's start with something that might surprise you: your sleep schedule. Now, you might be thinking, I'm retired, I don't have a schedule anymore. And that's perfectly understandable. After decades of waking up early for work, finally having the freedom to sleep in or stay up late feels like a well-earned reward. But here's the thing: our bodies love routine, especially as we get older. The internal clock that tells us when to sleep and when to wake up, what scientists call the circadian rhythm, starts to shift as we age. It becomes more sensitive, more easily thrown off by changes in bedtime, light exposure, or even meal times. If you're going to bed at 10 p.m. one night, midnight the next, and then trying to nap at 2 in the afternoon, your body doesn't know which way is up. That confusion leads to shallow sleep, frequent wake-ups, and groggy mornings. So one of the most powerful things you can do is pick a bedtime and a wake-up time that works for you, and stick with it, even on weekends. You don't have to be strict down to the minute, but aim to keep it within the same hour each day. This helps your body know when it's time to wind down, and over time, it can actually make falling asleep and staying asleep easier. Now, let's talk about light. Not the kind from a cozy lamp or a romantic candle, but the kind that comes from your phone, your tablet, or your television. Our eyes are incredibly sensitive to light, and that becomes even more true with age. The blue light from screens, especially in the evening, tells your brain, hey, it's daytime, even when it's clearly not. This confuses your body and delays the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep. So if you're scrolling through your tablet in bed, watching a movie on your laptop, or even checking emails before bed, you might be sabotaging your sleep without realizing it. Instead, try to give yourself a screen break for at least an hour before bedtime. Use that time to do something relaxing: read a physical book, listen to soft music, do a little gentle stretching, or even just sit quietly with a cup of herbal tea. That gives your body the signal that it's time to shift into rest mode. If you absolutely need to use a device in the evening, you can use settings or apps that reduce blue light, or wear special blue light blocking glasses. But even with those tools, it's best to give your eyes, and your brain, a break. Let's not forget about one of the biggest culprits of poor sleep: napping. Now, don't worry, I'm not here to take away your afternoon rest entirely. A short nap can be a wonderful thing, especially if you're feeling drained. But the length and timing of that nap are what really matter. If you find yourself napping for more than 30 minutes, or doing it too late in the afternoon, it can throw off your sleep later that night. You may not feel tired at bedtime, or you might fall asleep but then wake up at odd hours. A better approach? Keep naps short and sweet, about 20 to 30 minutes, and aim for early in the afternoon. Think of it as a little energy boost, not a full reboot. That way, you still have enough natural sleep pressure to fall asleep easily at night. So far, we've looked at 3 important habits: sticking to a regular sleep schedule, reducing screen time before bed, and managing naps wisely. These might seem simple on the surface, but don't underestimate them. Just making a few small shifts in your daily routine can make a huge difference in how you sleep and how you feel during the day. You might not notice a change after one night, but give it a week or two, and you could start to feel more refreshed, less foggy in the morning, and even a little more energetic as the day goes on. Now that we've covered those, let's keep this momentum going. There's another powerful factor that affects your sleep, and it's hiding in plain sight, right in your daily routine. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look at how what you do during the day, especially in the morning and afternoon, can either help you sleep like a baby or leave you tossing and turning. One thing that often gets overlooked is sunlight. Natural daylight is like fuel for your internal clock. When you get outside and soak up some sunshine, especially in the first half of the day, you're sending a strong signal to your brain, it's time to be awake now. That helps reset your sleep-wake cycle and makes it easier to feel sleepy when night comes around. Even just 15 to 30 minutes of natural light in the morning can do wonders. You don't have to do anything fancy, just sit by the window with your coffee, take a gentle walk around the block, or tend to your garden if you have one. The idea is to let your body know it's daytime, loud and clear. It's amazing how something so simple can be so effective. Some people even find that after a few days of consistent morning light, they fall asleep faster and wake up less during the night. Think of sunlight as nature's alarm clock. It's free, it's easy, and it's surprisingly powerful. Now, let's talk about movement. You've probably heard that regular exercise helps with sleep, and it's absolutely true. But let's be real, at 60, 70, or beyond, most of us aren't looking to run marathons or hit the gym 5 days a week. And that's okay. You don't need intense workouts to see the benefits. What matters most is consistency and keeping your body gently active. Daily movement, whether that's walking, swimming, tai chi, gardening, or stretching, helps reduce stress, burns off extra energy, and even boosts the production of those feel-good chemicals in the brain. And all of that adds up to better, deeper sleep. Just one thing to keep in mind, try not to exercise too close to bedtime. While movement is great for your body and mind, doing it late in the evening can actually wake you up instead of winding you down. Aim to move earlier in the day, morning or early afternoon is ideal. That way, your body has time to settle before bed, and you still get all the benefits. And speaking of winding down, let's take a moment to talk about stress. Because let's face it, even after 60, life doesn't just magically get calmer. There are still worries about health, about loved ones, about finances, or even just the future. And all of those racing thoughts? They tend to show up right when we're trying to fall asleep. It's hard to sleep when your mind is spinning. That's why creating a simple bedtime routine can be a game changer. It doesn't have to be elaborate or time-consuming. It just needs to be something you do consistently that signals to your brain, it's time to relax now. This could be as simple as turning down the lights, putting on some calming music, or writing in a journal for 5 minutes. You could try deep breathing, meditation, or even a warm bath before bed. The key is to make it a gentle habit, a moment of peace to transition from the day into rest. One thing I've found helpful for many people is a worry list. Before bed, take a few minutes to write down anything that's bothering you, just get it out of your head and onto paper. You're not solving the problem right then, you're simply letting your brain know, okay, I see you. We'll deal with this tomorrow. It's a small act, but for some, it can take a big weight off the mind and help sleep come more easily. Now, before we move on, I want to say this, if you've been struggling with sleep for a while, it's easy to feel discouraged. Maybe you've tried a few things already and didn't see results right away. But don't give up on yourself. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a need. And your body wants to sleep. Sometimes, it just needs a little help remembering how. So far, we've talked about the importance of routine, reducing screen time, napping smart, getting morning light, staying active, and managing stress before bed. And maybe you're already thinking, that's a lot to keep track of. But don't worry. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just pick 1 or 2 things to start with. Maybe you commit to going outside in the morning this week. Or you start turning off screens 30 minutes before bed. Even the smallest shift can have a ripple effect, leading to better nights and better days. When you start sleeping better, you might notice all kinds of positive changes. Maybe you feel less anxious. Maybe your memory feels a bit sharper. Maybe your energy lasts longer through the day. Sleep touches everything. And when it improves, so does your overall quality of life. There's still one more piece of the puzzle that we haven't talked about yet, something that happens in the hours just before bedtime and can make or break your chances of getting deep, restorative sleep. Let's take a closer look at that next. Let's take a closer look at what happens in the evening, those last few hours before your head hits the pillow. Because believe it or not, what you do during that time can make a big difference in how easily you fall asleep, how deeply you stay asleep, and how refreshed you feel the next morning. Think about it like this: your body needs a gentle ramp down, not an on-off switch. We can't go from full speed, watching the news, checking the phone, dealing with emails or chores, to instantly calm and sleepy. It's like asking a car going 60 miles an hour to stop on a dime. It doesn't work that way. We need to ease into rest. That's why one of the best things you can do is build a wind-down routine in the evening. A consistent pattern tells your body, okay, the day is done. It's time to slow down. And that doesn't mean you need to light incense or meditate for an hour, unless you want to, of course. It can be as simple as dimming the lights, putting on some quiet music, and doing something relaxing like reading a book, folding laundry, or just sitting quietly with a warm drink. Speaking of warm drinks, let's talk about what you're eating and drinking in those final hours before bed. You might not think much of it, but late-night snacks or that evening glass of wine could be working against you. A heavy meal too close to bedtime can make your stomach work overtime just when the rest of your body wants to rest. Spicy or greasy foods, in particular, are known to cause indigestion or heartburn, which can wake you up in the middle of the night. And as for alcohol, while it might feel like a nightcap helps you fall asleep faster, the truth is it actually disrupts your sleep later on. You're more likely to wake up in the early hours of the morning, tossing and turning. Plus, it messes with the deep stages of sleep, the parts that help you feel truly rested. Instead, aim to finish eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. If you're hungry later, go for something light and calming, like a banana, a few almonds, or a small bowl of oatmeal. And if you enjoy an evening drink, consider switching to something like chamomile tea or warm milk, which can actually help your body relax and prepare for rest. Another quiet but important factor: your bedroom itself. It's easy to overlook, but the space where you sleep has a huge impact on the quality of your rest. Over the years, many of us turn our bedrooms into multipurpose rooms. Maybe it's part office, part TV lounge, part laundry station. But when your brain walks into a room and sees a desk, a screen, and a pile of clothes to fold, it's not exactly getting the message, time to relax. So try this: look around your bedroom and ask yourself, does this feel like a peaceful place to rest? If the answer's no, don't worry, you don't need to redecorate from scratch. Just start by making a few simple changes. Clear away the clutter. Lower the lighting. Keep the temperature cool and comfortable. Most people sleep best when the room is a bit cooler, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And don't forget about noise and light. Even small noises, like a ticking clock or distant traffic, can disturb your sleep, especially as we get older and lighter sleep becomes more common. A fan, a white noise machine, or even a soft playlist of ocean waves can help block out unwanted sounds. As for light, it's best to keep your bedroom as dark as possible. Blackout curtains can be a great investment if outside lights are keeping you up. Even the glow from alarm clocks or chargers can interfere with melatonin production, so try to keep screens and glowing gadgets out of sight. Now, sometimes even when we do all the right things, set a routine, eat right, stay active, we still wake up during the night. It happens. And when it does, the most important thing is not to panic. The worst thing you can do at 3 a.m. is stare at the clock, thinking, I have to fall asleep now or I'll be a wreck tomorrow. That pressure only makes things worse. Instead, try getting out of bed for a few minutes. Go to another room, keep the lights low, and do something relaxing. Read a few pages of a calming book, sip some water, or just sit quietly until your eyes start to feel heavy again. Then head back to bed. The idea is to keep your bed associated with sleep, not stress or frustration. Remember, it's perfectly normal to wake up during the night once in a while, especially as we get older. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress. Better sleep, not perfect sleep. And as we start to wrap things up, take a moment to recognize how far you've come just by paying attention to your sleep. You're taking control of something that many people assume is out of their hands. And that's powerful. Because sleep isn't just about closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It's about giving your body and mind the care they need to rest, recover, and recharge. Every good night of sleep is like a gift to your future self, one that makes each day a little clearer, a little brighter, and a little easier to enjoy. So if you've been struggling with sleep, don't give up. Try one change at a time. Be patient with yourself. And above all, believe that good sleep is still possible, because it absolutely is. If any of these tips resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Share what's worked for you, or what you're planning to try. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more honest, practical advice on living well at every stage of life. You deserve to feel rested. You deserve to feel strong. And yes, you deserve a great night's sleep. Here's to living your best life at any age. Sleep well, my friend.